Today for DPA, our focus is on participating safely. Now we're going to be active in the hallway, so it's important that we move in a way that's safe. So what I want you to do is turn to your partner right now and talk about what participating safely looks like when we're active in the hall. So turn to your partner now. Have students conference with their partner, each speaking for up to 1 minute to share their knowledge of success criteria of safe participation. Following partner discussions, consider having pairs share their responses with the class. Consider recording correct responses on poster paper for future reference. Throughout the lesson, continue to draw students' attention to the identified criteria for success. Let's warm up with special teams play. The teacher designates 2 students to be it. The people will try to tag players and send them to the penalty box. The teacher will identify 2 students as defenders, the people who will have a ball and will help teammates to get out of the penalty box. Students begin the game of tag by moving around the activity area, slowly at first and then gradually increasing their activity level on the signal from the teacher. When students are tagged, they stand still with their legs apart and hold one of their arms high in the air. The defenders with the ball move around the activity area and free up the tagged players by rolling the ball through the legs of their frozen teammates. Once the ball goes between their legs, the tagged players are able to return to the game. Change the it players and defenders every 30 seconds. Prior to activity, inspect classroom activity surface for safe traction and eliminate potential hazardous conditions. Where movement is to be around desks and chairs, check all chairs are pushed into the desks or remove chairs to the perimeter of the room. Check that pathways around desks can safely accommodate student movement. Remind students to be cautious when moving and to be aware of personal space of others. Clearly define areas of the body that can be tagged, for example, arms, back, or legs. Instruct students that a tag is a touch, not a push, punch, or grab. Students move to their first station and read the card. When the music starts, students perform the activity at their station for 45 seconds, and when the music stops, students move to the next station. Consider using the stop, point, and move strategy, where students will stop moving, point to the next station, and move in the active way directed by the teacher. Students can move in different ways between stations, for example, skip, power walk, jog, gallop, 2-foot hop, or sidestep. The teacher reminds students of the success criteria identified at the start of the lesson. Post station cards around the activity area. Spread stations out to minimize interference from other activities. Review safety considerations and station activities with students. Repeat the circuit as many times as necessary for the duration of the activity. Be sure to highlight the following safety considerations for students. Where there are immovable objects, such as water fountains, create a safety zone of at least 1 meter around the perimeter of the activity area. Mark out these types of areas with pylons or mats. Check that locker doors are closed. Remind students to be cautious when moving and to be aware of the personal space of others. Let's head back to the classroom to cool down. Place up to 16 pylons around the activity area. Students move around the activity area and pretend they are stick handling. As they reach a cone, they move or deke around it, or change direction as they arrive at it. The teacher calls out the type of locomotion that the students will perform to decrease the activity intensity, for example, bounds, skip, brisk walk. At various intervals, the teacher calls out student's name, scores. They then perform a lower body activity stretch for 10 to 15 seconds, led by the person whose name was called. After the stretch, the teacher calls out a new form of locomotion, decreasing in intensity, and the cool down continues. When the teacher calls game over, students high-five those close to them saying great game. The cool down is then finished. Following the cool down, students conference sharing examples of the safe participation that they saw demonstrated throughout the class.